Ladies and gentlemen, I hope everyone's doing great tonight. Welcome back to my channel. I'm your boy Jake. Welcome back to Maple Leafs Media. We've got a jam-packed show for you tonight, and we're going to be looking ahead to an exciting matchup between the Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. We will play the Edmonton Oilers 4 of our next 6 games, and this is a really exciting matchup. There's a lot of interesting storylines here. We'll see former Maple Leafs Tyler Ennis and Tyson Barrie in the Edmonton Oilers uniform, and we will also be seeing a 3-1 team against a 1-3 team. I'm super excited. This is the recipe of how we can drill the Edmonton Oilers. Let's go. Let's get the comment section going. I'm excited. I'm excited to have a good show with you guys. So I guess we should start off with the news. Not really news, but the Maple Leafs, they're going to be rolling with the same lineup as last night. The Maple Leafs will roll with the same lineup that they had last night against the Winnipeg Jets. How can this benefit us? I think that this will be beneficial to the Maple Leafs, as we saw a 7th defender in uniform last night. We saw Mikko Lehtinen make his NHL debut, and I think he'll get more ice time against the Edmonton Oilers. I really do. I think that our defense, we're going to get tired real quick. Going against a high-flying offense, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, our defense, having that 7th guy, that's definitely going to be beneficial for this team. We got some comments going on. Rye says, yo, welcome back to the channel. Edmonton is in a lot of trouble with no goalie in defense. I concur. I concur with you. Rye says, Lehtinen playing too? He is. We are rolling with the same lineups as last night, and Mikko Lehtinen will remain as the 7th defender. And I think that this is a good way to ease Mikko Lehtinen into the NHL. Get him some ice time, get him going against some good competition, and having him be that 7th defender, that's beneficial to both his development and to the Maple Leafs tomorrow night, going up against a high-flying Oilers team. The Edmonton Oilers, they've got some really good skaters, and having that 7th defender back there, that's gonna help us out a lot, I think. Donnie says Edmonton doesn't look good, and they don't. Through the first 4 games, they're 1-3, and we're going to be talking about the Oilers a lot tonight because, as you can see, this is the recipe of how to drill the Edmonton Oilers. I guess we should start off by going over some recent history between the two teams. Since 2012, the Maple Leafs have been pretty dominant against the Edmonton Oilers. 13-3 win-loss record, and we've outscored Edmonton by a total score of 62-40 in those games. So we play them 4 of the next 6 games. 4 of our next 6 games will be played against the Edmonton Oilers. My question to you is, how many wins would you be satisfied with for the Toronto Maple Leafs? Personally, I think 3. I'd be satisfied with 2, but I want 3. I want 3 against a team that's 1-3. We're 3-1. They played Montreal, and Montreal beat them twice. I think that we should be craving to go at least 3 of 4 against the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers have had their struggles, and we should be able to capitalize on this. Let me know in the comments section below what you think. We've got a bunch of the regulars in here. We got Jason. Welcome back. Jason Brooks. Welcome back to the show. Leafs look great. You're right. You're right, Hockey Kid. I'm super excited. Outside of McDavid and Draisaitl, they suck. That's fair analysis. We're gonna continue getting into this. We will continue getting into this, as the Edmonton Oilers, they're allowing a lot of shots on goals. 36.3 shots on goal allowed per game. The Maple Leafs, they're generating 33.8 offensively. So this right here, if we can continue to generate scoring opportunities, we're going to be set, because Mikko Koskinen, I don't believe in him. I don't believe in Mikko Koskinen's ability to shut down the Maple Leafs. I don't think he can do it. And 36.3 shots on goal against him allowed per game. The Oilers' defense, I don't think they can contain the Maple Leafs' elite forward group either. The Maple Leafs should be able to skate all over them in their when the Maple Leafs are on offense. They should be able to generate a lot of opportunities, and the Maple Leafs should get a lot of shots on goal, because Mikko Koskinen cannot He can't stop them. He can't stop all of them. And when you're allowing close to 37 shots a game, it's not going to go favorably. Rusty says Toronto can put Edmonton in playoff trouble without gaining points. So yeah, we can put them in playoff trouble early. They're 1-3 to start the season. 1-3 in this Canadian division that's stacked. That's a bad start. That's a bad start. And the Maple Leafs at 3-1, this could be a big advantage going our way to start the season early. If we could really we can set the tone going forward. Taking a team with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, two elite talents, putting them down in the standings, that'd be huge. That'd be huge. We have a question here. Do you think Lehtinen is a top 4 defenseman? And I don't think we've seen enough from him to even consider this. I don't think we've seen enough to even consider that. Mikko Lehtinen, he's played one NHL game. He had around 6 minutes of ice time, and he's been the 7th defender. No, he's not a top 4 defenseman on this team yet. And hopefully he can develop and transition to the NHL and be a top 4 defenseman for this team. But it remains to be seen. He's only played one NHL game. So that's something that remains to be seen for sure. We're going to continue with the trend of the Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Maple Leafs because, as I was saying before, the Oilers are allowing all these shots on goal. And the first player that comes to your mind when you think of the Oilers, it's either Draisaitl or it's McDavid. And we're going to talk about them later. We will. But right now, I want to talk about what comes after them. Because in the past, Maple Leafs teams, we've seen this firsthand as Maple Leafs fan base. We've seen that you need a lot of depth up front. And if you don't, you're going to get bit. The Edmonton Oilers, their third and fourth line, I think that the Maple Leafs' third and fourth line, that is going to be a key to the game. Having our depth players, our bottom 6 is going to be the key to the game. Because the Oilers, let's just look at their third and fourth lines. Joakim Nygard, Kyle Turris, and Jesse Puljujarvi as their third line. Okay. Fourth line, Josh Archibald, Devin Shore, and Alex Chiasson. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, how do the Maple Leafs line up against them? Do I know who these people are? You might not know who these people are, and that's fine. I will fill you in on them. Because the Oilers' third and fourth line, they have not performed well at all. And this is something that the Maple Leafs need to take advantage of because I love the Maple Leafs' third and fourth line. The Maple Leafs, we've got a really good bottom 6. We really do. And the third line and fourth line of the Edmonton Oilers have combined, all 6 of them have combined for just 1 goal. 1 goal through the first 4 games of their season. And already they have a plus-minus of -16. That is something we need to take advantage of. That's a very telling stat right there. And as Leafs fans, we've seen it ourselves. We need to have any team needs to have a solid bottom 6 to compete for the cup and compete just in general. The Edmonton Oilers, their bottom 6, I do not believe in them. And I do not believe in Mikko Koskinen in goal either. Chuck Fleet says, does Campbell get next game? And no, Sheldon Keefe confirmed today that Frederik Andersen will be starting tomorrow night. So I'm super excited to see Frederik Andersen get another shot tomorrow against the Edmonton Oilers, all these high-flying offensive talents. It's going to be a fun game. Speaking of these high-flying talents, I think we should be talking about Connor McDavid. We should get into talking about Connor McDavid because Connor McDavid, let's show a clip of what he's done against the Maple Leafs. I'm sure this is fresh in all of your memories, and if it's not, let me remind you.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins right there, and now it's one-on-one with McDavid. He's looking for options, fakes like he's going to go across, and cuts back. And you're not going to catch him at that point. Gets Hutchinson to bite and puts it underneath the bar for a 6-3 lead.
So yeah, I mean, Connor McDavid, we all know he's extremely talented, probably the best player in the NHL right now. Connor McDavid, we need to find out how we can slow him down because I don't necessarily think you can shut him down. The question I have for you, and if you have an answer in the comment section, leave it. How can you shut down Connor McDavid? I personally don't think you can shut down McDavid. I really do not think you can shut down Connor McDavid. He's just too good. Generational talent. He's too good. He's an elite talent. We got some comments flowing in here, and we will get to them. But let's hear what Travis Dermott, who actually played with Connor McDavid back in Erie, the Erie Otters organization, the Ontario Hockey League. He played with Connor McDavid for a few years, and here's his answer of how the Maple Leafs can shut down Connor McDavid.
It's a full team effort, or at least the five guys that are on the ice. If he's skating from their end down low with speed against our D, it's going to be pretty tough. So we rely on our forwards to try to get in his way at least a little bit, make him take a little bit of a longer route to get to us. That's been our game plan so far, dealing with speed. So hopefully we can continue getting in front of guys that way, and we'll take it by ear and see how it goes. But I think we got a good plan going forward, and I'm excited to play against him. It's going to be a good game.
It's all about the angles. It really is all about the angles. You got to cut Connor McDavid off somehow. He's so speedy. It's about the angles and the route you take to stop Connor McDavid. If you force him to the outside and to take longer routes, that's a way to stop him. But you can't necessarily stop him because he's just so good at playmaking, shooting. Connor McDavid can do everything. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the Maple Leafs approach this. You heard what Travis Dermott had to say, but we need to see it come to fruition. We've got a bunch of comments coming in here. Let's get to them. Donnie, great point. McDavid does not have the supporting cast. And as I said earlier, this is something I just attested to. Those third and fourth lines already on their team combining for a plus minus of -16. That's something the Maple Leafs absolutely need to take advantage of. Our third and fourth line, we need to get them going. Mikheyev, Kerfoot, that line, the Mikheyev, Kerfoot, and Hyman line, I expect them to have a few great nights in the next 6 games. We play the Edmonton Oilers 4 times. These lines are going to benefit. The third and fourth line, the bottom 6, are going to have huge nights against the Edmonton Oilers. Mark my words. They're going to have big games. We've got more comments coming in. I think only Kadri knows how to shut down Connor McDavid. Nazem Kadri did do a great job of that. Joseph Clark, should Leafs Nation miss Tyson Barrie? You know, we all know the trade. Tyson Barrie and Alex Kerfoot in exchange for Nazem Kadri. And I think a lot of Leafs Nation misses Nazem Kadri, myself included. But without Tyson Barrie, I think we're better. I think that TJ Brodie, we've seen him struggle through a couple of the first games and struggling to be a defensive partner with Morgan Riley. It's kind of what we saw last year with Tyson Barrie. These guys, they want to fly up on the rush. They want to join the rush. And my answer to this is simply no. We should not miss Tyson Barrie because it wasn't a fit for the Maple Leafs. TJ Brodie, if we separate him from Morgan Riley and put him to the second defensive pairing with a guy like Jake Muzzin or Justin Hall, that would be better for TJ Brodie, I think, personally. But my answer is no. We should not miss Tyson Barrie. We will see Tyson Barrie against the Edmonton Oilers, and I'm excited. William Bennett, great point. If we win the next few, we will have a huge advantage. And I want to ask again, because the room's starting to populate here now. We play Edmonton for the next 6 games. So how many wins out of those 4 games would you be content with? And my answer was 2. I'd be content with 2, splitting the series with them. But I really want 3. I want 3 because the Maple Leafs' early season success, 3 wins, 1 losses, compared to the Edmonton Oilers' 1-3, we have a chance to really stomp on the Edmonton Oilers and start to bury them. We have a chance to start to bury them in the standings, and with a shortened 56-game season, it's going to be harder and harder for them to come back as the season goes on. Answer from Bud, 3. I'm with you. I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. 3. We got 3 coming in. We want 3. We want 3 victories against the Edmonton Oilers. That's the goal. 4 would be amazing, but 3 would be perfect. We've got William Bennett says 2 is good. Okay. 3 would be awesome. 3 would be awesome. If we get 3 wins against the Edmonton Oilers, I'm super excited. I'm super hyped up about that. So, Connor McDavid's the big story. It's the big elephant in the room. Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid. How can we stop him? We talked about that earlier a little bit. Because McDavid against the Maple Leafs, he's always got that extra motivation going up against his hometown. And Connor McDavid, he doesn't need extra motivation. He's Connor McDavid. He's the best player in hockey right now. Connor McDavid against the Toronto Maple Leafs in just 9 games. This is his totals. 5 goals, 10 assists, and 15 points. And last year, we saw him undress Morgan Riley and just put that beautiful goal home behind Michael Hutchinson. Connor McDavid, he comes out to play against everybody, but it's an extra little spark against the Maple Leafs that you don't want to see if you're the opponent. We need to just try. We need to find out how we can stop Connor McDavid, and it's going to be the game plan. That one game tomorrow night, that's really going to have a lot of deciding factors for the next 3 games against the Oilers. We'll see this team 9 times throughout the season. 4 of the next 6 games are against Edmonton, so we need to find out how we can stop them. Rusty Nail says definitely 3. Chuck wants to put Wayne Simmons on Connor McDavid. I don't think this would work. Connor McDavid's just too fast. That's Chuck. I'd like to see Wayne Simmons try to shut him down, slow him down as well, but he's just too slow compared to Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid is extremely fast, and that would not work. Robert, I like the attitude. I like it. Keep it up. Why not all 4? Edmonton's playing terrible. Play our Leaf game, and we win. If we play our game, we do win all 4. But I don't know. It's going to be really tough. We also have to consider that the first 2 at home, and then Sunday we have Calgary. In Calgary, we have 2 games against Calgary. We're going out west to Alberta, so that's never easy. It's never easy with the travel and stuff. So taking that in consideration, I'd be content with 3 victories. But Robert, why not all 4? I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the Maple Leafs pull out 4 victories against the Edmonton Oilers. How would that be for a statement? Leaving the Edmonton Oilers 1-7 through their first 8 games? That'd be unreal. Unreal. Right. If we win most of the faceoffs and score, I think we'll be good. Yeah, it's the name of the game. The Edmonton Oilers, they're a good faceoff team as well. We are the Toronto Maple Leafs. We have a lot of good centers, but their centers, they're good. Kyle Turris can win some faceoffs, and then we all know what Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are capable of. That center group from the Edmonton Oilers, it's a really good group, but they don't have the supporting cast that the Maple Leafs do. The Maple Leafs have a really good supporting cast. William Bennett says, it all comes down to the better goalie, and the goalie situation is not great, but ours is pretty good. I like your positivity, William. I really like it. Our goalie situation is pretty damn good. Compared to some other teams in the league, we have a good goalie situation. Frederik Andersen played the 3rd most minutes last year, and Frederik Andersen, he's a good, solid goalie. Jack Campbell, we've seen him play 1 time this year, and we've liked what we've seen from him. If this goalie tandem can continue it, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. Jason Brooks says Edmonton's goalies combined for an age of 70 years old. Interesting fact, Jason. I like it. So, continuing with, maybe we should get into some predictions. Maybe some score predictions, player predictions. Let's start off with score predictions. What do you guys think the score is going to be tomorrow night between the Toronto Maple Leafs and Edmonton Oilers? I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say the Toronto Maple Leafs pull out a 6-3 victory. Taking into consideration that the Oilers, they're a high-flying team. They're going to score. They're most likely going to score. Frederik Andersen, he's a good goalie, but I just think that they're going to score 3 goals tomorrow night. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, on the other hand, they're going to have a huge night. Offensively, they're going to have a huge night. They're going to generate a lot of power play opportunities. And I think that the Maple Leafs pull out a 6-3 victory. You look at Mikko Koskinen in goal, and I just don't think he's going to come out and he's going to have a good night. I really don't believe in their goaltending situation. Their defense, it's sloppy. I think the Maple Leafs pull out the 6-3 win. What do you guys in the comments section think? Let me hear it. William Bennett says 7-3 Leafs. Donnie says 3-1 Toronto. I like it. We're all on the same page here. We got the Maple Leafs winning against the Oilers. Rye says 4-2 Toronto. So interesting here. I'm gonna stick and I'm gonna go. I'm closer to William here. I got a high scoring game. I got a 6-3 victory. Jason says 5-4 Leafs. Luke, 5-4 Leafs. Tough last second battle in their own end to get the W. I could see it. I could see it for sure. 3-1 over the Oilers. Chuck's going with a low scoring game between these teams. Amanda, 3-1 as well. Rusty, 5-4. And Bud with a 5-2 Maple Leafs win. Go Leafs, go. Let's get this dub. Let's get this dub. We're going to be seeing this team a lot. So, I mean, getting off to an early start, getting off to that early advantage against the Oilers, that's going to be key going forward throughout this season. We've been talking about McDavid, and we'll talk about him more after we get some player predictions going. So the score predictions, I've got 6-3 for the Maple Leafs. How about player predictions? Any of you guys have any player predictions in the comments? Let me know, and I'll post them up here. And I'll give you mine. Because tomorrow night, I think Austin Matthews is going to turn it up. I really think Austin Matthews is going to have a 3-point night tomorrow. I'm going to say he has a goal and 2 assists. He sets up Mitch Marner for one of them, and he's going to have a 3-point night tomorrow. Austin Matthews, watch for him to have a big game tomorrow. He's going to have that extra motivation as well. You think McDavid just has extra motivation because he's playing against Toronto? There's something else you should take into consideration. Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid, these guys are friends. They were practicing together all offseason in Arizona. These guys want to show each other up, and I think Austin Matthews gets the best of Connor McDavid and the Oilers tomorrow. He has a 3-point night against them. Wayne Simmons, he has yet to put up a point with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he came into the season with 499 points. I think that tomorrow night, Wayne Simmons on the power play gets his 500th career point. That would be that's just a great milestone, and it would be really exciting to see him accomplish that feat. I got Wayne Simmons to record his 500th career point against the Edmonton Oilers. And then here's one that might catch you by surprise. Justin Hall will have his first goal of the season tomorrow. Justin Hall, he's been all over the place. He's leading the team in blocked shots and hits. Justin Hall is going to get rewarded tonight with his first goal of the season. I've loved what I've seen from Justin Hall throughout the first 4 games of the season. Justin Hall's looked great out there. Justin Hall is going to have his first goal of the season tomorrow. Let me know in the comments section what you think of my predictions, and leave yours as well. Christine says, I'm going to say 3-2 Maple Leafs. John Howard, 5-3 Toronto. Rye, I think Marner will have a fantastic night. I'm with you. Mitch Marner, he's looked great out there. 6 points. Him and John Tavares, 6 points each. They're leading the team in points. These guys are both going to have great seasons, and I wouldn't be surprised to see both of them have career years in the points per game category. Mitch Marner's been flying all over the place, and John Tavares already in midseason form. Jason Brooks, I took Matthews to have a 3-point night. He took Marner to have a 3-point night. I like it. Bud says, Tavares and Matthews 2 each. The big boys stepping up. We think the big boys are going to step up against the big boys in Edmonton. Let's see it. Whoops. I'm back. That was interesting. Whatever. I'm back. So Tavares to continue his goal streak. I'd love to see it. John Tavares has looked hella good out there. John Tavares, I really think he's going to have a career year this year. John Tavares is going to benefit from playing with William Nylander and Jimmy Vesey, and they're going to benefit from playing with him as well. John Tavares to continue his goal streak. I like it, Rusty. I like it. I think Matthews and McDavid will both be great for the next 4 games because they practice in the offseason. I like this. I like this point a lot, and I'm going to preach this, William. They practice together in the offseason. These guys want to show each other up. They're competing, not only team versus team, Oilers versus Leafs, but these guys, they're friends, and they really want to compete for bragging rights out there. Expect the best from both Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews tomorrow. Rye says Marner with a goal and 3 assists. I'd love that. I'd love to see it. Marner will play well, Nylander as well. I think that's something we've come to expect. Our top guys performing well every night on a nightly basis, and we've seen it more consistently through the first 4 games of the season than we have in the past. These guys, they've really stepped up out here, and I like what I've seen from them. Luke, Matthews is the only player with the IQ and overall skill to not only match up with McDavid, but counteract his speed. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how we approach Connor McDavid. And Travis Dermott, he said earlier that we need to take away his lanes. We need to make the ice shorter by beating him with angles. I like what Travis Dermott and this Maple Leafs team is planning on doing to Connor McDavid, because Travis Dermott, you got to remember, he played with Connor McDavid back in junior. So I believe that that's beneficial for the Maple Leafs to have someone who played with him in junior. He knows some of his tendencies. You need to take away the shooting lanes, and you need to beat him. You can't outskate Connor McDavid. It's nearly impossible. You just need to beat his angles. You need to cross him. Christine says, I think Matthews will score a goal. I also think Nylander will have a good night and get a goal. Hey, these guys have both looked good out there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that. I would not be surprised to see that. Amanda, Marner will put up at least 3 points, and I like how you said at least. Let's see it. Let's see it. I think Freddie will have an assist in the first. I think that's a bold prediction, William. I like it. I like the bold prediction. Toronto should have a great all-around game. Edmonton, McDavid will produce for Edmonton. So yeah, McDavid will produce for Edmonton. He always does. It's just trying to find ways to minimize the damage he does, because I don't think you can completely stop Connor McDavid. He's just like Crosby. You can't completely stop him. And even if he doesn't get on the score sheet, the plays that he's making defensively or just in the neutral zone are going to help the Edmonton Oilers either way. So we need to find ways to minimize the damage that McDavid does to us. Daniel Rojas, Simmons going to average 2.1 fights per game. Well, he's got a long way to go if that's the case, but hey, I like it. But that's something you can't really put too much. Let's talk about that for a second. Wayne Simmons, we can't ask Wayne Simmons to go out there and fight on a nightly basis. And the Maple Leafs, we saw that against Montreal Canadiens, the first night of the season. He really sparked the team. He got everyone going. And that's something that the Maple Leafs can't count on. We cannot rely on that. We cannot rely on Wayne Simmons to fight night in and night out, because as much as you'd love to see it, you love to see a Maple Leafs player standing up for your guys and getting the team going. He can't fight every single night. He can't do it. It's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable. Wayne Simmons, I like your analysis though. That's fun. That's a fun stat you put out there. Is it me, or does Nylander seem slower this season? I'm sorry, but I think that's you. William Nylander, he's looked damn good out there. William Nylander, the first night of the season, he was flying all over the place. He just looks way more confident than he has in years past. The way he's skating from our own end to their offensive zone, he's just extremely good skater, and he's a talented playmaker. William Nylander, I'd expect him to have a great year this year, and I think he's going to have a career year in points per game as well. We've got Willie and Matty usually play well against the Oilers. They do. They definitely do. Interesting. Tavares should have a better chance on second line. Edmonton has one line. So Edmonton, I talked about this earlier, and I'll talk about it a bit more. Let's talk about the Edmonton Oilers' bottom six, because their first two lines, they're solid first two lines. But after that, it really goes downhill for Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers, I'll show you who's on their third and fourth line, and then I'll show you some stats. Their third line consists of Joakim Nygard, Kyle Turris, and Jesse Puljujarvi. Okay. Fourth line, Josh Archibald, Devon Shore, and Alex Chason. You still following me? Okay. Third and fourth line of the Edmonton Oilers. Here's their stats through the first 4 games of their season. 1 goal. They've all 6 players have combined for 1 goal. Just 1 lousy goal. And a plus minus of -16. They've been on the ice for 16 more goals against them than for them. The Maple Leafs bottom 6, on the other hand, we have a solid bottom 6. And I think that the bottom 6 of the Maple Leafs are going to exploit the Edmonton Oilers' weaknesses. We are going to absolutely take it to the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow night. That's why I've got us winning 6-3. Because up and down the lineup, the Maple Leafs, we've got good depth. The Edmonton Oilers do not. And we are going to exploit that. We've got some more comments coming in. Leave your thoughts in the comments section, your predictions, score predictions, player predictions, whatever. I've got another player prediction, and it's not just for tomorrow night's game. Because as I've said numerous times through the show, sound like a broken record for crying out loud, I've said that the Maple Leafs will play 4 of their next 6 games against the Edmonton Oilers. So let's make a prediction for the next 6 games, or the next 4 games between these two teams. I've got Connor McDavid putting up 7 points in 4 games against us. I think that we're going to do a good job of containing him, but we can't completely stop him. He's just too good. He's too good. I think that he puts up 7 points in 4 games against us, and I think that that's actually a pretty good job of containing him, because he's always going to come out. He's always going to come out to play with extra motivation against the Maple Leafs, and we've seen it throughout his young career. In 9 games against us, he's got 5 goals, 10 assists, and 15 points. Connor McDavid is obviously a difference maker. And speaking of Connor McDavid, I'm going to show... I'm sorry, this is funny. I'm going to show my personal meet and greet with Connor McDavid. This is my picture with Connor McDavid, everybody. Yep. Boots and hearts. I met Connor McDavid. The story, I was sitting over there and sitting on a rock, and I'm like, hey, that's Connor McDavid. Went over, took a picture with him. This is my picture. You can't even see my face, but whatever. Nice guy. Love to see it. We got some more score predictions coming in here, though. We got more predictions coming in. Rusty Nail says, I could see Simmons getting in a scrap with Zach Kassian. I could see it. I could see it playing against each other 4 times in the next week. I could see it. These teams are going to start to hate each other the amount they see each other. Justin Hall, point per game player. I don't think that, but Justin Hall, he's looked really damn good out there. He's looked really damn good out there so far. And the defensive play, he's just really stepped it up on all assets of his game. Derek McDonald, 4-3 Toronto. I like it. I like it. And you know what? This is a good point. Let McDavid do what he wants. Let McDavid do what he wants. Just stop the rest of the team. Within reason. I mean, you can't let McDavid skate all over you guys. I like the second part of your comment, though. Just stop the rest of the team. Because as I've said, their third and fourth lines, they don't really have scoring ability. They're not lethal at all. Plus minus of -16 through just 4 games. The Maple Leafs need to exploit that. And Jason Brooks, he On the other hand, when I said McDavid to have 7 points in 4 games, he says Matthews and Marner are going to both get 7 points in 4 games. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see our top guys stepping up against the Edmonton Oilers. This all-Canadian division, it's fun. It's fun. We've got... how tall are you? I'm 6'4". 6'4". I'm a tall guy. When I played hockey, I was a bit of a goony defenseman. Braden, he's got 6-0 Maple Leafs. Matthews scores 2 or 3. I think Matthews is going to have some big nights against these teams, against the Edmonton Oilers specifically. Austin Matthews he's definitely going to have some big nights against Oilers because, as I've said, Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews practiced together all offseason in Arizona. These guys are friends. They want bragging rights. Austin Matthews, I think he's going to take the bragging rights from this. Chuck Fleet says Jumbo Joe gets 5 points. Hey, if that happens, I don't know. I like it. I like the prediction, though. I like the belief you have in Jumbo Joe. And speaking of Jumbo Joe, Joe Thornton, he's averaged 16 minutes of ice time per game. So 16 minutes of ice time per game for Joe Thornton. And I think that he's done a pretty good job of keeping up with Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews. You know, that was a big question going into the season. Can he keep up with these guys? And I think that he's done a pretty good job. He has played his role perfectly. He can slot up there on the first line, and then later in the game, you have Zach Hyman slotting in for him. I like what I've seen from him. I like what I've seen from Jumbo Joe, and he's just all smiles. Great guy to have in your locker room. We've got more comments coming in. Edmonton better shake up their lines, or they're in the basement. Yeah, they've got to fix that bottom 6, or I agree with you. They will be in the basement of this division. I think that Edmonton, with their goaltending situation as well, Mikko Koskinen, I'm lacking faith in the Edmonton Oilers right now. I know they have Draisaitl and McDavid, generational talents, but I really do not think that the Edmonton Oilers have what it takes to even compete for a playoff spot this year. I don't think they're making the playoffs. There's going to be 4 teams from this division to make the playoffs, and I don't think the Edmonton Oilers are one of them. Joseph Clark, Leafs Nation. Joseph Clark in the comments section. Shout out to him. Always here. We got another prediction. 5-2 Leafs. Koskinen is suspect at best. Agreed. Spezza Potts 4 and Selly's like in 07. I'd love to see that. Jason Spezza, he's been working really hard. Jason Spezza, you've seen it night in and night out. He's been working really hard, and I think that him being placed on waivers the other day, I think that's going to give him even more motivation as well. Jason Spezza is going to have... I could see him maybe scoring 4 goals in the 4 games, but I don't think that 4 goals in a night, come on. And I don't think he's even going to score the 4 goals in those 4 nights. I think Jason Spezza, he's due to have a goal soon, though. He is definitely due to have a goal soon. 22-0 Leafs. Ilya Mikheyev scores 22 goals. Soup to have 22 goals. Interesting. Who else wants to see a goalie fight? I know Jumbo Joe is old, but so I've been impressed with his forecheck and battles along the boards. Yes, that veteran presence. He knows what's going to happen before plays even happen. Like Joe Thornton, he's got that so much experience in the NHL. He can probably see things happening before they even come to fruition, and that's really beneficial. He has been great for that first line with Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, and I think that these two, they're going to benefit a lot in the future from just this one season with Joe Thornton. Edmonton is some serious goalie trouble that I think the Leafs can exploit over the next 4 games. Yeah, definitely. Exploiting their goalie trouble and their bottom 6, that is the key to beating the Edmonton Oilers, and I want to beat them 3 out of the next 4, at least. John says, I think 4-3 Toronto. Nylander would put up 3 points. William Nylander's look damn good out there, and I like that. I like that people are starting to recognize it. If you guys haven't smashed that like button, thank you, Jason. If you haven't smashed that like button, smash it. If you haven't hit the notification bell, smash it, and you'll be notified every time we're either live here on Maple Leafs Media or we have a new video coming out. And I've got a little fun video coming out for you tomorrow on this channel. It'll be looking back to a certain draft class that affected both of these teams. So that will be a fun video. Stay tuned for that tomorrow on the channel. Christine, always in the comments section, says, I think it's going to be a rough series between Toronto and Edmonton. There's some good fights, and I think a good rivalry will form. I think it's one of our best rivalries this season. You know, I'd like to. It would be fun to see these teams have a rivalry spark for sure. I personally think that the Calgary-Toronto, I think that series is going to spark a huge rivalry, but you can really see it with any of these. Like seeing each other 9 or 10 times a season, expect a lot of rivalries to emerge. And I think these rivalries will last far beyond this year. Even when we go back to just a regular format where we see the Western teams twice a year, expect those rivalries to continue, and those games are going to have even more significance in the future. We have more comments coming in here. We all know the top players are expected to score, but I'm going to make a prediction and say the Leafs win 5-1, and Brody will get his first goal as a Leaf. Corey, I like your prediction. TJ Brody to have his first goal as a Maple Leaf. I'd love to see that. And coming up against the Edmonton Oilers team, he played multiple times in the past. I wouldn't be surprised to see it. And Frank Rusty Nails, Jimmy Vesey, scoring at least 2 goals. At least. I'm going to emphasize at least. I like your prediction. Jimmy Vesey. Man, I really think he's looked good out there. He's got just 1 goal on the season. Not really. He doesn't have the point or the score sheet totals that his line mates, William Nylander and John Tavares do. But I think that Jimmy Vesey, he's going to have a big season. And my goal prediction for him this season was to have 17 goals. I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to him matching his career high of 17 goals this year. Nylander, Matthews, Marner for the rest of the season. They'll be lethal. Now they would be lethal, but I'm gonna take a dive into this comment a bit here of why you should not do this line. If you do this line, look at the rest of the lineup. It's just you got to spread the wealth of your top tier players, your core 4. You leave John Tavares on a line with who? Zach Hyman and Jimmy Vesey. I don't really like that. William Nylander beside John Tavares and Jimmy Vesey, I think they've got that right now. And why make change if it's not like don't fix something that's not broken. Don't do it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I don't think that you should right now. Maybe later in the season we can come back to this. But right now, I like what the lineup's doing. And I think top to bottom, also, the team we're playing against, as I've said so many times, their bottom 6 is weak. And just moving lines, juggling them around, it doesn't make sense right now. I like this comment. Thornton, Matthews, Marner has been one of the best lines in the NHL so far. No need to change it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Do you think the current lines stick for the majority of the season? This is a tricky question. If it was just a regular hockey season, my answer would be yes, definitely. But it's not a regular season. It's not a regular year. It hasn't been a regular 2 years. It's a pandemic right now, and there's a possibility of positive tests. And obviously, we hope it doesn't happen, and we hope we can minimize the risks of that happening. But I wouldn't be surprised to see positive tests come in, and injuries are going to happen as well. So I'd like to see it, but I can't go out there and say yes to this question. There's too much to consider right now. There's really just too much to consider for them. Rye says Thornton is too slow for them, and that was a big concern coming into the season. But I disagree with you. I think that Jumbo Joe, he's looked good out there. I mean, we're not expecting him to skate at the same speed as Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews at his age, are we? Like, he's making the plays he's supposed to out there. He's a playmaker. He can take a shot when needed, and he scored against Ottawa. Joe Thornton on that first line, it's beneficial to him, and it's beneficial to his line mates, Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews. Because think about it, without Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews as line mates, Jumbo Joe, what's he going to do? He's going to be a fourth line center, and he's not going to really have a big role in this team other than his veteran presence in the locker room. So I'm with Frank here. Keefe shouldn't change anything unless there's a huge goal drought. But with this talent on the team, I doubt it. You got to stick with what's working. Don't change it. Don't mix it up right now. There's no need for it. Zach is in the comments. Welcome back. Hey, Zach, how's it going? We've got some more stats to get to, I guess. And if you haven't already, drop your score predictions, your stat predictions in the comment section. I've got some questions for you, but also another prediction that I forgot to touch on is with the Maple Leafs win. I said that the Maple Leafs will win 6-3. That was my score prediction. And what comes with that victory is this interesting little stat here. Frederik Andersen, with a win tomorrow, or just his next win in general, he will pass Curtis Joseph on the Maple Leafs all-time win list. All-time wins. Fourth in Maple Leafs wins by a goaltender. Frederik Andersen, believe it or not, he's been here a little while now, and those wins, they've started to accumulate, and he's moving up the charts. So shout out to Frederik Andersen. He's currently tied with Cujo. That's a good milestone and a great accomplishment for him to have. So how many goals do you think Austin Matthews scores this season? Well, I believe my prediction early before the season started was 35 in a 56-game season, and I'm going to stick with that. 35 goals in a 56-game season. As a Jets fan, I hate to say this, Matthews was better last night. Matthews is stepping it up. He's going to have a big year this year. He's definitely going to have a big year this year. We've got a couple more things to talk about here. I've got a question for you guys in the comments section, though. What Maple Leafs player, or which ones, it can be multiple, which players have impressed you the most through the first 4 games of the season? Who is it? Is it William Nylander? Is it Jimmy Vesey? Joe Thornton? For me, I've got a couple answers to this question. I've got Zach Hyman. Zach Hyman, he's looked great out there. He had a goal against Ottawa, and last night he had 10 shots against the Jets. Zach Hyman, he's flying out there, and he's got extra motivation being moved down to the third line, and he's playing up on the first line sometimes too, but he's really leaving his mark out there. I like what I've seen from Zach Hyman. Mitch Marner, 6 points already. John Tavares, 6 points already. They're leading the team in points. That speaks for himself, and John Tavares, I really think he's set to have a career year this year. John Tavares will have a career year in the points per game category. Mark my words. He absolutely will. We've got a bunch of comments coming in, and I'll talk more about this after. Prediction here from Chuck Fleet. Matthews gets 30. I'm going higher with 35, but I like your prediction. I like your prediction. We've got Nylander or Marner. We've got Marner for Hart. Okay. Kerfoot, you know what? Kerfoot had a down year last year. His first season in Toronto, new surroundings and everything. But Alex Kerfoot, I like that point, Jason. I really like that, and I agree with you. He's been a workhorse. He's been an absolute workhorse out there. And you know what? The third line as a whole, I'm not going to leave it to just Kerfoot because I mentioned Hyman as well. But how about Ilya Mikheyev? Ilya Mikheyev, he hasn't gotten a goal yet, but he was flying out there last night. And I think Soup, Kerfoot, and Hyman, they've all impressed me a lot. And looking at what the Edmonton Oilers bottom six have done, that's extremely beneficial. And I think that our third line, we're going to have some big games in the next 6 games. For the next 6 games against the Oilers, watch for our third line to feast on theirs. Nylander for sure. Nylander's playing with supreme confidence right now, and I love to see that. I absolutely love to see that. Tavares and Nylander, I think they're going to have career years. Justin Hall, great point. Great point. Justin Hall leading the team in hits and block shots already through 4 games. My prediction for him was that he gets his first goal tomorrow night. We'll see if it happens. I just think that he's deserving. The hockey gods, they're going to reward him tomorrow night. He gets his first goal of the season. Kerfoot, Alex Kerfoot, yep. Just talked about him. Sledge Hockey 101. Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons giving that spark to everybody in the locker room. He knows his role. He knows his role on this team, and I'd agree with that. We've got a lot coming in here. Hall, Hyman, Marner, and JT all have been impressive. John Tavares or Willie the Skilly. Willie the Skilly. I like that. I like that. Just the third line in general has really impressed me. Great point, Rye. That's what I was just saying. That third line, it's been really, it's looked solid out there. Might be the best third line in the NHL right now. William Nylander, Jimmy VC. Jimmy VC, I like it. Jimmy VC and Mitch Marner. I think Jimmy VC's caught a lot of people by surprise. Some people might not have even known who Jimmy VC was coming into this year. And we saw him slotted into that second line unit with William Nylander and John Tavares. People might have been taken by surprise by that. I wasn't. I predicted it before it even happened. But I think that Jimmy VC, definitely, he's going to impress you, and he's going to continue to do that with these 2 line mates in John Tavares and Mitch Marner, or John Tavares and William Nylander. Jimmy VC, watch for him to continue to impress. Yep, he has been, especially last night. He was amazing out there. I think he had 3 block shots. Justin Hall's putting his body on the line for the team. He wants to win, and he stood up for his goalie last night. It's something you'd love to see. I love what I've seen from Justin Hall this year. Last year, we saw his progression he's really improved in his progression last year. And this year, it's just another stepping stone. I think it's just the tip of the iceberg for Justin Hall. He's got a bright future. Definitely got a bright future. So happy for Anderson. Love the guy, and I hate all the hate that he gets from some of the fans. He looked great last night and deserved the win. Yeah, he did look really good out there, allowing only 1 goal. And I think that Frederik Anderson, I said this before the season started. You might be getting sick of me saying this, but I think that he's going to have a career year as well. I said it earlier. I have a video on it of why he's going to have a career year. Because the contract situation, he's a free agent at the end of the season. There's other goalies on the free agent market, of course. So he's going to be competing for a job. And with the cap situation, he's going to be fighting for his money. And when you put money on the line, these guys, obviously anybody is extra motivated. We've got a bunch more comments flowing in here. That third line has been gaining really good chemistry. It has been. I love what I've seen from the third line unit. I love that third line together. I wouldn't change a thing. Jason Spezza. Jason Spezza has been impressive. And, I mean, it's about time he's going to score a goal. He will score a goal in one of the next 4 games against the Oilers. I think so. I think Jason Spezza, he's looked good. He's looked good out there. We saw him last year put up 9 goals. He's got a wicked shot still, and he's got a good attitude. He's always smiling, and he wants to be a Maple Leaf. When he was placed on waivers, he got his agent to come out and say, if another team picks me up, I'm just going to straight up retire. Jason Spezza is a Maple Leaf through and through. He bleeds blue. Forget the Senators' history. Jason Spezza is a Maple Leaf, and I love to say that. We've got, when is Campbell going to get the next game? I wouldn't be surprised to see it on the Western road trip. We have this Sunday, we play against the Flames, and Tuesday we play the Flames as well. So next week, I think Campbell will get a start. We play 2 at home against the Oilers in the next 3 games. Don't think he gets one of them, but I think after that, after we take the flight out to Alberta, He's going to get at least a start in Alberta for sure. Definitely VC. He's a hard worker. Also, Riley is 100% and looks much better to start the season. Honestly, so many players have impressed me in different ways. Also, Campbell looks sharp in his first game. You know what? It's hard to pinpoint some players that haven't impressed me so far. I can name a few, but I'm not going to right now. There have been a lot of players on this team that has impressed me, and I want to stay positive. This team has looked good. It's looked really good out there. They're playing as a nice cohesive unit, and they must have done some team bonding over Zoom or whatever in the offseason, because they've got a good chemistry going on all of these lines. The fourth line, they've got a good chemistry. The third line, that looks like the best third line in hockey. Might be the best second line in hockey as well. That's a first line on a lot of teams. And then the first line, you've got Jumbo Joe playing with Marner and Matthews. I like what I've seen all up and down this lineup. It's been nice. It's been nice and promising. Is Matthews going to score 2 goals next game? I don't think he scores 2 goals. I have Matthews having a 3-point night tomorrow. That was my prediction, and I think he gets a goal and 2 assists. Austin Matthews will set up Mitch Marner for a goal. These are my predictions. Well, come back tomorrow night for the post-game show, and you can call me an idiot if you want. Nylander has been hard on the puck on the power play. He passes. In NHL 21, he's at 85. I think he's for sure 90. Okay, I don't really play the NHL video games. I'm not too familiar with the overall readings, but I would say that sure, you should probably upgrade him based off what you've seen from him this year. Because if you're going off last year, I think he's only improved. I think he's only improved this year. Anderson is playing good so far. So the 9 goals in the first 2 games, a lot of people got on him. And last night we saw him improve. And let's not get too up or too down on Anderson. I really think that Freddie is going to have a career year this year. But we need to see it consistently. And tomorrow night he's going to have an opportunity against a high-flying offense in the Edmonton Oilers. Let's see Frederik Andersen have another big night tomorrow and tie Curtis Joseph for the 4th most wins by a Maple Leafs goalie. Brody, other than the first Ottawa game, has been a huge upgrade and will continue to do his job. So personally, I'm still worried about having Morgan Rielly and TJ Brody together as a defensive pairing. I just think that they join up on the rush too much. Both of them, that's on their agenda. They want to join up on the rush together. So maybe switching up the defensive pairings might be beneficial, but stick with it for now. Stick with it from now and remain flexible. We have 56 games in a season. We've got time to make some changes if necessary, and I believe in Sheldon Keefe to do so. Do you think Muzzin needs another defensive partner, or is Hall good for him? Justin Hall can play with Jake Muzzin. Justin Hall can play with Travis Dermott. Justin Hall can play with TJ Brody. Justin Hall is not an issue. Justin Hall's looked great out there. I think that Justin Hall is good for anybody he's playing with. The way that he's been playing out there, Justin Hall has really solidified his role on this team. We've got a bunch of other comments coming in, and we will continue to get through them. William Bennett, what do you think we will have the best chance at going 10-0 or 9-0 against in the North? Oh, what team do you think we have the best chance? Okay. And everyone subscribe. I like that. Thank you. If you haven't already, make sure you smash the like button and hit the notification bell. You'll be notified every time I'm here on this channel, Maple Leafs Media. I think that the team we have the best chance to go against, I don't really see it happening, but I'd say it's the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, the Edmonton Oilers, I don't think that their bottom 6 is good enough, and their goaltending situation, it's tough. So this would be the best opportunity. Let's start off by going 2-0, and then let's start off by winning 4 of the next 6 games, because we play them 4 times in the next 6 games. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I don't see it happening necessarily. Really don't see it happening at all. I'd like to see Tyler Boyd get a chance. He looked good in the scrimmage game. Yeah, so I believe I was watching a Sheldon Keefe press conference today, and I believe that he was actually sent down to the Marlies today. I think that Tyler Boyd, he's a Stanley Cup winner with the Washington Capitals. He likes to block shots, make some hits, create separation between a body and a puck. That's something that we could use. Tyler Boyd could be a valuable asset to this team come playoff time, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him getting in the mix sooner than later, but I'm not sure where he fits in and into this lineup right now. I think that we got to stick with what we've got right now. How do you feel that Jumbo Joe is on the first line? I think he's looked good out there. I think he's looked good on that first line. Talked about it a lot on this live stream, on other live streams, and I'll continue. I think that Jumbo Joe on this first line with Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, he might not have groundbreaking speed, okay? But for his age, 41 years old, he's done a damn good job of keeping up with them, and he's just a veteran presence. There's a picture of after their first goal on that line this season. Mitch Marner is just looking at Joe Thornton in awe. It's like you got to find yourself somebody that looks at you the way that Mitch Marner looks at Joe Thornton. It's hilarious. Question here from Ron Keats. Welcome back to the show, Ron. Does Hyman sign with the Leafs next season? Damn, I hope so. I hope so, and I think Zach Hyman does. He's always out doing stuff in the community. He's active in the community. He's one of the first people that come to your mind when you think of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hardworking guy. I think he loves the city of Toronto. City of Toronto loves him back. I would be surprised to see him on another team. I think that he's going to be a Maple Leaf for a really long time. We've got more comments coming in here. I would like to see Sandin play soon. Jason, I'm with you. I've been preaching this last couple shows. Zach Bogosian, he's looked better over the past few games, but I did not like the way he started the season. Those first two games, it was a mess. And taking those 2 penalties in the first game, it's not something I'm going to forget. Rasmus Sandin, obviously a first-round pick. You don't want him just sitting there on the taxi squad. So we gotta find a way to give him some playing time. And I think when we do, Rasmus Sandin will impress, and he will sustain success throughout the remainder of the season when he gets in. I think that Rasmus Sandin, once he gets in there, it's going to be really hard to take him out because he's going to impress us that much. Amanda agrees. I'm still hoping to see him out there for sure. We want to see him. Rusty Nails says VC plays really well on the penalty kill unit with Ilya Mikheyev. I picked VC to score the Leafs' first shorthanded goal. I like it. And I love that people are recognizing Jimmy VC and the hard work he does. He gets in the dirty areas, and he's been a victim of circumstances throughout his career, playing on Buffalo and New York Rangers, not the New York Rangers they are now, bad Rangers teams. So VC, I think that's a good prediction. I like it. I like your prediction a lot. Someone says Matthews over McDavid. Matthews over McDavid. Okay. William Bennett says he thinks Hyman will ask for too much. It's a possibility. Don't want to really speculate on the contracts and everything, but I think that we got to find a way to pay Zach Hyman. There's a lot of upcoming contracts that this team has to deal with, but let's just enjoy what we've got right now. I love this lineup, and I love the way it's constructed. Let's enjoy what we have now, and we'll talk about this more later. We'll talk about this a bit more later. I noticed Toronto did good on the penalty kill last night. They did good at not allowing Winnipeg to get too many shots to the net, and Mikheyev had a breakaway chance. So the Maple Leafs penalty kill, they've only allowed 3 goals on 17 chances this year. 3 goals on 17 chances, and this is a penalty kill unit. I'm sure you all remember last year. This penalty kill unit last year was the 6th worst in the NHL. The 6th worst, and that's not going to cut it. Just allowing 3 goals on 17 penalty kill opportunities. It's a small sample size, but if we can sustain that success going forward, and I think we can because we have the bodies and the players to do it now, I think that this team is ready to take the next step. Ron Keats back to Zach Hyman. I think he'll take a hometown discount, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that as well. I think that he loves the city of Toronto, and he wouldn't want to move, and I don't think Toronto Maple Leafs want to see him go. We've got a question, a personal question from Chuck, or William, rather. What position did you play when I played hockey? So I was a bit of a Swiss Army knife. I played defense mainly. I played defense. That was when I played at my best. I was a defensive defenseman kind of guy. I like to throw the ball around, like to make some hits, but I played a lot of wing, played a lot of center. I played a bit of everything, but defense was my go-to position. I played one game at goalie as an emergency goaltender, and it was not pretty. I'm not quite David Ayers. Emergency goalie is not my thing. And I mean, we're talking a bit about me now, so let's show a picture, my picture of Connor McDavid. If you haven't already seen it, this is my picture with Connor McDavid. That's at the Boots and Hearts Music Festival. You can't even see my face. Good times, good times. Not only is Hall back to the Leafs, back to the Leafs. This is what we like to talk about here. If you guys want, I can come on here and I can talk about myself one day, but we'll talk about the Maple Leafs right now because this is how we can drill the Oilers. Not only is Hall leading in blocks and hits on the team, he's leading the NHL in 5-versus-5 defenseman points. That's an interesting point. I didn't even know that, to be honest. Justin Hall, I think he's going to get a goal against the Edmonton Oilers, and he's deserving of it. He's got so much potential. We've seen what Justin Hall is capable of doing. He's more of a defensive defenseman, but I like that stat a lot. Justin Hall leading the team in shots and blocks. He's really stepped up this year, and he has absolutely solidified his role with this team as a top 4 defenseman on this team. We've got Robert Ferguson. By the sound of it, Keefe is keeping the same lines for tomorrow's game. Sorry, I just tuned in. Not sure if I talked. So yes, I did talk about this at the beginning of the show. It was the first thing I covered. Yes, we are keeping the same lines for tomorrow, and that means that we still have a 7th defenseman. Mikko Lehtinen, 7th defenseman, will be there. He only got around 6 minutes of playing time against the Winnipeg Jets, but I think that Mikko Lehtinen having that 7th defender, someone who can rest up more, that's going to be beneficial against a high-flying, high-voltage Edmonton Oilers offense. It's going to be definitely beneficial. We've got more comments coming in here, and I will get to as many as I can. Do you think the Oilers will make the playoffs this year? I've said it earlier in the show, and I'm going to stick with it. I do not think the Oilers make the playoffs this year, and I think that we have a big opportunity to really bury them because we play them for the next 6 games, and they're already 1-3. So say we beat them, say we go 4-4, they're going to be 1-7 in a 56-game season. That is very, very difficult to overcome, and I don't think they can do it. I don't think that they have the bottom 6 or the solid goaltending that they need to be a playoff team in this division. I really don't. We have a comment here from Rye. I like this. I've been saying this myself. I do want to see Liljegren, that right-handed shot defenseman. But maybe we should just let him develop a bit more and then give him his chance. Just throw him right into there. We saw him a bit last year, not too much. But Timothy Liljegren, I really like him. And I think as a right-handed shot defenseman, that adds extra value because a right-handed shot defenseman, it's rare to have that. And I think that in the future, you could definitely see Timothy Liljegren playing as Morgan Riley's defense partner. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but in the future, I foresee that happening. We've got do you think Vancouver rebounds from a bad start? I think that they could rebound for sure. I mean, it's just first couple games, and the Oilers, they could even rebound as well. I think it's more likely for Vancouver to. We've got Good point here. Liljegren's only 21. We do not need to trade him. And Jason says, I'd wait until next year to try Liljegren. I would as well. We've got so many pieces of this defensive puzzle, so many players, so many bodies, a lot of defensive depth. We've got a surplus of defensive depth, and it would be hard to get Timothy Liljegren playing time. It would be more beneficial for him to play with the Toronto Marlies right now. It'd just be more beneficial for him. You think the Leafs gonna end 55-1 for the record? I sure hope so, but I mean, I don't think that's very realistic. I mean, as of right now, it's technically possible. It's technically possible, but I just don't see it happening. I'm all about the Leafs, go, but I don't see that happening. Some defensemen take longer to develop. That's a great point, and I think that goes back to the draft. A lot of people were questioning drafting Amirov, and that might be, well, that definitely has a part to do with why we didn't take a Braden Schneider or Caden Gooley that were available to us, because they take longer to develop, and we're not just going to slot them in there this year. They wouldn't have fit into this lineup right now. So on that note, I think that's all I've got for you tonight. This has been a fun show, and I guess we can show McDavid one more time and what he did to Morgan Rielly to end this show. We all know it. We all know what McDavid's capable of doing, but here's what he did last year.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins right there, and now it's one-on-one with McDavid. He's looking for options, fakes like he's going to go across, and cuts back. And you're not going to catch him at that point. Gets Hutchinson to bite and puts it underneath the bar for a 6-3 lead.
So that right there is exactly what we do not want to see in 4 of our next 6 games, and we don't want to see that happen tomorrow. But I think McDavid will put up 7 points in the next 4 games against the Maple Leafs. And on that note, Jason Brooks says, "Go Leafs, go!" Get a "Go Leafs, go" in the comments section. Thank you all for watching this video, and here it is one more time. Signing off. This is Jake. Have a good night, and I will see you guys tomorrow night at the post-game show. If you haven't already, please smash the like button, hit the notification bell, share this video, share the channel, tell a friend to tell a friend. It really helps me out, helps out the brand, helps out the growth. It's a lot of fun coming on here every night, and I will see you guys tomorrow, post-game show after the Oilers and the Maple Leafs. Let's drill the Edmonton Oilers. Go